Alrighty, the time has come. It is time to work on these two machines. Alright, most important thing when you're starting a project is to get your tools organized. So I've gathered up most of the tools that I'll need, and I got them on my handy dandy workbench. Best thing about this workbench, it's extremely movable, and I can vary the height pretty easy if I want to. I was going to use my Dodge. You know, it's got that nice flatbed with plenty of workbench space, and it's very movable, but it's getting new tires put on it. So while I'm waiting for it to get done, I figured I'd work on the combines, and that's why we're here where we're at. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on this side. I have to take these little wire holders off, you know, to free all the wires. I probably don't know where half of them go to anymore. And then we got to take this nut off and this nut off. That gets the carriage loose, or cradle loose on this side. This piece is the guide for the belt. It can stay with this machine. It'll come off when we take that off though. And then we're gonna work our way across the top, taking loose anything that is bolted to the cradle, and we'll finish up on this side with the hydraulics and getting that belt off. And I'm not sure what it entails to get that belt off. Probably just loosening that up, because I don't know what tensions it. Don't know where the tensioner's at on that. So we will we'll cross that bridge when we get there, and then I'll have to take this loose so I can get the belt off, because that's going to come with that cradle. Yeah, and I'll take this bolt loose so that don't come with it, and that bolt so that hose don't come with it, and then there's two more bolts over here, and that should just lift off. So let's get at it. Okay, so got everything unhooked. I got the hydraulic system supported, so I've already pre-picked it up by hand. So we'll just slowly lift this cradle up with the excavator and do this one-handed. Well, we'll try it with two. Got the cradle, swinging out of the way. And we'll set it down. Now I did notice that belt for the hydraulic pump, that's an Alice Chalmers belt. I think we can unhook it without getting out. One-handed. Well, we're not one-handed. We're using the camera hand. Look at that. We did it. Swing back over here, hit the tractor. We'll gear up to pull this fuel tank off. To take the fuel tank off, we're gonna have to take this bolt off. It holds the sediment bowl on. I've already disconnected the sending unit wire, and there is a bolt in each corner that's got to come out, and this light's not connected to anything, so it'll come off with the fuel tank, and that will be that. If you didn't want to take the mounts off, you could just take the bands off, but I think it's just going to be easier to take the tank off because the bands tighten underneath. So yeah, let me get a wrench and get these taken off. Okay, I couldn't get the 4 mounting bolts off, so I took the bands off, which was way easier than I thought it would be. Like, way easier. So we're gonna have to pick it up a little different. We'll see how well it comes off. So let's get you guys set up here. Maybe my toolbox stand here. There we go. All right, now that we got the engine, everything cleaned out for the engine to come in and the fuel tank gone, we can work on taking this one apart. I'll sweep that off and everything, and I got to figure out which line goes to the variable speed, but like I said, I'll probably change them all. So what we're going to do to this one is essentially the same thing. Fuel tank's coming off. Now I'm just going to leave these brackets on here because it's way easier, because to get them, I thought this was threaded for them bolts to go in. It's not. They got nuts, so you got to reach up into there and monkey around with that. I don't feel like it. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold the auger out on this because of where my excavator's at. I can just pick stuff off and swing that way. So we'll fold the auger out on it and take a look and see what we got to take apart on this one. Alright, so on this one, I got the drive belt disconnected already. I just took it off earlier. I was goofing around. So we got the same bolts that'll come out. I'm going to take the air conditioner compressor off, and I'm going to try to feed it in and around here to keep it intact and not break the system open, to get them lines out of the way. And then got to disconnect all of our wires. Got a wire going to the compressor, got a belt going to the compressor, got our battery cable that I'll just take off the battery. Our ground is grounded to the frame down here, so we're good there. All these wires I'll have to figure out. That one's just a ground for the engine. That can get cut. The air conditioner one can get cut too. So we got this guy from the starter. It goes down somewhere. That can come off the starter. Probably just cut it. This guy, see where it goes. Fuel line will be easy to take off because it's just a rubber hose here and here. And this one can actually come off from right there. The throttle cable will have to get taken off. Hydraulic pump the same way. That's got a different style belt on it. I might have to take the pulley off that pump. Probably gonna have to take the pulley off that hydraulic pump and put on the other hydraulic pump, because that one's got a wider belt, because it's driven off the engine and not a separate pulley from that drive deal. And then I'll pop the hood. The heater hoses will have to be disconnected if they aren't already. This one's still connected. And probably what I'll do is I'll try to crimp them and just cut them. I don't know where that other one goes to. Looks like it kind of goes under the engine. And then I got a lifting eye here and a lifting eye there. That's really for pulling the engine, but I should be able to pull the whole thing with it. Oh, I had pressure on it. That's good. It's got coolant in there. Looks like it could be changed, but no leakages. So let's start taking this apart, see if we can't get an engine and a fuel tank off of here today. I'll probably just cut that fuel sending unit wire. I got the other one on the other machine that I'm going to use. So let me get some stuff rounded up to get this apart. Alright, so I've been working on this one a little bit. You can see I took the whole hydraulic system off. Since this one's the parts machine, I figured I might as well drain the system and take it off. I could always, you know, rob parts off of it. It had one brand new hose on it that I'll take off, but like I said, I'm gonna have to switch out that pulley. So to do that, I'm gonna have to take it off. And I was just looking at the other one over here because I'm gonna have to take it off too. But I have this hose here was hanging down, and that hose there. This hose comes off of this steel line here, and then this hose goes into the tank. So I believe this hose from this steel line should go straight into the tank and not have this conglomeration of fittings and stuff on it. Because if I go over to here, it should be like a return or something for the power steering. It's power steering rated. This feeds the power steering. This, I believe, is the return. This is the header. So if I go in here to the pump I took off, or the valve body I took off, this outer one's the header. This goes to that other steel. Yeah, that goes to the middle steel, and then that one down there is the one that fed the power steering. If I've traced lines, and that's the best I can figure without looking at a diagram. Both of them went to the power steering. So this would be the one that goes to the valve body. This would be the one that goes to the tank. I'm just trying to think. I run this machine and I don't ever remember fluid squirting out of these. And I didn't take them apart. So I don't know why they're disconnected and why they're so long. So what I'll end up doing is I'll probably get new hoses made, excuse me, while I have these off. And I need to work these valves, spray them with some lube and work them. They're a little stiff. So I could use the valve off the other one, but I want to try to get all the hydraulic fluid out of it if I'm going to do that. I don't want to contaminate. So when I reuse these lines or swap these lines out, I'm going to blow them out with the air compressor, so I won't have to worry about it. But I'm thinking I might as well drain this and disconnect it and get it out of the way. I'll zip tie different colored zip ties where stuff's supposed to go, so that way I don't get confused. But I need to do that yet and figure out what I, start getting everything loose for the engine. I got that belt taken off. Got these bolts loose. I got to get up there, disconnect fuel lines, electrical, that stuff. I'll probably do that. Try to get this engine off today, and then I can work on the hydraulics on that one. Okay, everything's been disconnected that I know of. So now we test the tensile strength of everything that wasn't. Alright, that's the motor off. I already started to try to take this line off, and it's not going to come out because I'm pretty sure it's probably the first line. These three are probably the first lines they put on the machine before they put everything else on, and I'd have to take all that stuff off both machines to get a new one put on there. So here's my new idea. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this line right here, and I'll replace this upper part because that's the part that's bad, and I'll put in a union fitting right there, and that way if it ever breaks I can just replace a half, or it'll be easy to replace. And I'll probably do that with all the lines that get that way. But these lines for the power steering on the other machine are in a lot better shape, so they'll probably come off, and they're easy to get off because they connect up here and back here, so they should be a lot more manageable to get off and swap out. And then as far as these other two, they didn't leak when I run it, but there's always that opportunity. And they run down the front. One's for real height, and yeah, for the height and lower of the reel, those ones. So those shouldn't work too hard. Oh, I'm tired. So, yeah, I think we're at a good stopping point for today. When I come back to it, this hydraulic unit will come off, and we'll begin prepping this machine for the engine to go back on. And while the engine's off and at a reasonable height, I'll probably dump all the antifreeze out of it, change the oil in it, change the filters, address the dipstick. It's just siliconed in there. It's kind of weird. I don't know why, but I might address that and maybe redo some of the wiring on the engine itself. Look, it's a praying mantis. Address some of the wiring on the engine itself, because some of it I don't even know where it goes. Like this conglomeration of wires right here went, like it didn't connect to anything. This is all it was. I don't even know if it just dead end and looped back up on the machine. So I have to figure out what that goes to. I'm gonna have to get my book out and look at wiring schematics to see which wires, if all the wires will swap over from the gas to the diesel, or if I'm gonna have to do a lot of fiddle farting around and figuring out which wires will do which. So, but yeah, I'm leaving the fuel tank on this one for right now. There's no sense in taking it off and setting it on the ground. I don't want to bend the hose, so it'll just keep its butt up there until I'm ready to put it on this machine, and then go from there. See what else we have to do to it. So until then, we'll catch you on the next one.